Alright guys, Bournemouth have just beaten Everton by 4-1, and to me this game was just the difference between a team that had, they were both second teams, like substitutes, but it was the difference of a team that has a substitutes bench that features regularly in first team games like in the Premier League versus a team that have just thrown a load of players who have had very little game time or have been injured a lot recently. The first goal was a big example of that. It just showed Everton's lack of positional and social understanding between the players in terms of where they're supposed to be at what time, because Michael Keane just steps out of defence, goes into midfield, leaves a massive gap at the back, meaning that Nathan Patterson has to come across, cover and leave his man free, which Jamal Lowe picks up the ball and it's a lucky strike. It takes a massive deflection and loops in off the bar. But it was still poor defending regardless from Everton to allow him to have the space to get into that position. And yeah, my question is, why on earth does Michael Keane also, as much as he made the wrong decision in terms of stepping into midfield, why on earth does he need to, when Everton are playing three central midfielders who are all defensively capable in Tom Davies, Abdoulaye Doucouré and James Garner? Makes no sense to me, that. And Everton didn't respond too badly to this. They had a good 5-10 minutes of not so much being on top, but creating a couple of chances. And Tom Davies had the pick of the bunch, fired it way over the bar, had to score. And Tom Davies, I think, overall had quite a poor game, to be completely honest. He gave the ball away too much. His passing, even if it did reach teammate, it wasn't like ever really the correct weight or the correct the correct position in front of the player. So I thought he was quite poor, and he for how good he looked like he was going to be 5 or 6 years ago when he first broke into the Everton team. I remember Everton beating Man City 4-0 in January 2017, and he was one of the players of the match that game. And since then he's just not kicked on at all. If anything, he's probably never reached those heights since, and it's a bit disappointing, to be completely honest. And I thought he was poor in this game again, to be honest. And yeah, he had to score that chance. Anthony Gordon as well made a really rash challenge, which I think if VAR had been around in this game, I'm not saying he would have got sent off, but I think he'd have been, there would have been a check, and you never know with the inconsistency of VAR, he could have been in a little bit of trouble. And for the rest of the half, Everton, they started to get a lot of the ball, dominated possession, but they never really looked like threatening Bournemouth, and Bournemouth just looked really comfortable, to be honest, for the remainder of the first half. They didn't have to do much in attack at all. And in the second half, this second goal, I mean, it's really unfortunate from Mason Holgate. It's good pressing from Bournemouth to enforce the error, but Holgate just slips and allows, I think it was Christie, to win the ball, cross it into the box. It takes a deflection off Holgate again, puts it right into the position for Jamal Lowe. The shot gets saved, falls to Stanislas, who scores. I remember Junior Stanislas as well scoring against Everton back in December 2015, I want to say, for Bournemouth. I think it was their first season in the Prem. And this was slightly less dramatic circumstances, given that that game was 3-2 Everton at the time. Everton had just scored what they thought was a 94th minute winner through Ross Barkley, I think it was. I'm really stretching my memory here. And I think Stanislas scored the equaliser at the 97th minute. It was a bizarre football match. And yeah, this was slightly less dramatic, but also turned out to be the winner. So I guess you could say it was still just as important. And yeah, Jamal Lowe, I mean, he was constantly causing Everton all sorts of problems. He had an ongoing battle with Yerry Mina, and he definitely won that battle. Let's get that straight. He was just constantly a threat to Everton. And yeah, I've heard a bit about him from when he was in the Championship with Swansea, but I'd never really seen him play. And today he just looked absolutely class. And I think he's a player who should maybe feature a bit more for Bournemouth in the Premier League as well. I know they've got a couple of good strikers in Dominic Solanke and Kiefer Moore, but he definitely makes it a good third choice. And yeah, I also noticed throughout the game, Michael Keane, as well as making the defensive error for the first goal in terms of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, in possession he was just so poor. And I thought the same, yeah, with quite a few of Everton's players as well. I thought him and Tom Davies, though, for me tonight, were the two who stood out in terms of being particularly poor. Everton did make a few changes, bringing on their, first choice players in this Premier League. Dwight McNeil, Damari Gray, and who else came on? Alex Iwobi as well. And it made a difference briefly. They pulled one back. It was a really good goal by Damari Gray. In fact, it was the first moment of quality that Everton had in the game, to be completely honest. And yeah, for 5 for 10 minutes, it looked like Everton, they had a bit of belief in them. The away crowds, turned the volume up a notch, and it looked like they could get back into this game. But in the end, it just wasn't to be once again. The third goal from Emiliano Marcondes, I butchered the name there, but it is a brilliant name, Emiliano Marcondes, what a name. And he scored the third. He came off the bench, and it was a really well worked team move actually for the third one. Bournemouth. The difference also was what they did with the ball, because Bournemouth probably didn't have as much possession as Everton, but they did a lot more with it in terms of creating really good team moves, getting past Everton's defence and creating chances. And this one was a really good team move. It was partly made by Siriki Dembele, who came off the bench as well for his second appearance this season, I want to say. And yeah, he made a massive impact when he came on the pitch. He helped set up this one, nice 1-2, squares it to Jamal Lowe. Begovic saves the initial shot, but Marcondes gets the rebound. And the fourth one, just another defensive nightmare. Patterson just dilly-dallies on the ball for far too long, and it gets taken off him by Dembele, and eventually it gets put in the back of the net by Jadon Anthony once it falls to him. Good finish as well, took it past the defender and found the angle. But yeah, just a poor defensive performance from Everton. I know it's only the Carabao Cup, so it's not disastrous, but I think Everton would want to try and have at least a cup run in one of the cups this season, because right now in the Premier League it looks like it's going to be a bit of a nothing season for them. I'm not saying they're clear of being threatened with relegation completely, but what I would say is that I wouldn't have thought they would be finishing below 16th, to be honest. So yeah, I think that they are going to need a cup run in the FA Cup to just keep it a little bit entertaining for their fans, and also for the players as well. But yeah, it was a really disappointing game for them tonight. Bournemouth, really good performance. It was a really good opportunity for their second string team to show what they can do, and they did, in all fairness. Like that, there weren't any players in their 11, or I think are starters when everyone's fit. I know Mark Travers played a lot of the first games of the season, but Neto has replaced him, even though he's injured right now. And yeah, there were some really good performances. A few that I'd pick out were probably Jordan Zamora. I thought played well at left back. He's a player I quite like. Jamal Lowe obviously had a brilliant game. Jadon Anthony as well. In fact, to be honest, to put it simply, I thought all the attacking players, even the ones that came off the bench, had a really good game for Bournemouth tonight. But yeah, they're through to the next round. They'll be hoping to go even further in the competition. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.